What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is Asa Studio with another Capture One tutorial. Let me ask you a question. What if I tell you if you work on the exposure and the color profile of an image, it's going to make your image come alive and make it stand out? So I'm going to be precise about what I'm going to be doing in this video. It's a beginner tutorial and you can also learn some tips and tricks in these images. So what we are going to be doing is to work with the color and the exposure of the image to make it stand out and to make the image come alive. So let's get started. The first thing I like doing is to use the white balance tool. Now whenever I see the color white in the image, I try to use the white balance tool to get the right color profile, and this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a new layer, a new fill layer, because I want it to affect all the image. So hit M on the keyboard and you're going to see the mask. Now once that is done, hit M again to turn it off. You're going to go to under the white balance tab and pick on this tool. Now I usually use this color white she's putting on all the wall, but it's not going to make a change. So let me just click it. I've clicked on it now and you see that the change before and after is not really there. But I'm going to hit Ctrl Z and name this balance white balance W. Just name it WB white balance, and I'm going to grab this one again and zoom into our eyes, which is supposed to be white, and let's use this place. I'm going to sample that side and you can see that we have some changes. Now this red is because I turn on the exposure warning, which is this one. So when you turn it off, you see the image is too bright. So I'm going to turn on the before and after as well. Now what are we going to do to make the image look okay and remove this exposure warning? There are two ways. Is either we reduce the opacity or we go to the high dynamic range. So let's reduce the opacity till we have something we want. Okay, so this is okay. So let's turn on the exposure warning. We still have some exposure warning right there. So I'm going to increase it a bit because I'm targeting the skin tones. I want it to stand out. Okay, so now that we have it like this, let's reduce it a little bit, like 20. I'm going to create another one, another fill adjustment layer, and this time around I'm going to hit M on the keyboard and I'm going to go to the high dynamic section, which actually work with the highlights, white shadows and black. Unlike the exposure, I'm going to decrease the white. So hit M on the keyboard and you see that it's affecting everything. So let's turn on the exposure warning and you can see the exposure warning is gone. If I take it up, it's going to come back. So let's bring it down a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to grab my mask eraser, mask tool, and hit M on the keyboard and I'm going to erase it from the subject. So let me reduce the size of the brush. I'm going to erase it from the subject like this, and some places, yeah, so like this will make the subject stand out a little from the background. So hitting them on the keyboard. Now this place is exposed, so I'm going to hit grab the max tool and let's add that to it. So increase the brush size and I'm going to add to it. So let's hit M on the keyboard. So now that is affecting the white balance, the exposure. Okay, so now we're going to work on the skin tone of the model. For that, we're going to create a new empty layer. So let's say this one is white. Exposure adjustment, exposure balance. So now this one is for the skin tones. Skin. Now why I created this one, let's see, hit M on the keyboard. Okay, it's a new empty adjustment layer. Now it's because I just want to work on the skin color alone. So I'm going to select the skin color. Now what I want to do here is that I want to make the skin color uniform, and there are two things I want to point out. If you want to balance the skin color in Capture One, there are two things to consider. One, Are you going to actually blend the colors, or you are going to blend the exposure? Now you see the hand is closer to the light than the face, and that is why this place is brighter than the face. So sometimes it's not the color you need to adjust, you need to adjust the exposure. So I'm going to select this hand, and Capture One is going to make a selection of that. So Magic Brush tool and increase it a bit and select this part of her hand. Capture One is going to calculate and give us, okay, so I'm also going to do, let's do it bit by bit. So I've selected there. Right now I'm going to create another one, empty layer, and I'm going to select this side, and let's see what Capture One select. So we have that too. Select this side, and let's see. So we have one, and we have the selection of two, and we have the selection of one. Okay, so let's start with this one. I'm going to grab the eraser tool, and I'm going to erase it from the face, just like that. And let's go to the eye dynamics. Hit M on the keyboard. Hit M on the keyboard to hide the mask. Go to the eye dynamic section, and we can decrease the white and decrease the highlights, just to remove the eyes and the white and the highlights. Let's try and add in more shadows, add in more blacks. So it's just a little bit adjustment so you can see it before and after. So now I'm going to go to the exposure itself, and because this I want to achieve this color, I'm going to decrease the brightness a bit so till I get something closer to that. So let's leave it around this section. So we have 1 and 2. So let's make it look like this brown one. So I'm going to bring it up like that. And for the other one, I'm going to turn it on and also do the same. Let's bring it down, and it's M. Let's remove it from the face. I'm going to remove it from the face. So it's M on the keyboard to hide that. So these two, just give it a little bit blend. You can see what it does, so give it a little bit blend. Now I'm going to create another empty layer, and I'm going to select all our skin. So I'm going to drag and select all our skin. Okay, so let's go under the color tab. Now the color editor tab, and under the skin tone, I'm going to select these two. Hit M on the keyboard to hide the mask. Now I want the color of our skin to look more like the face, and I would prefer the hand, but it would be easier if it's like the face. So I'm going to select from, let me say, somewhere around our nose, right here, and it's going to select. You will see on this circle pop up the range. Okay, so let's zoom out and let's increase the hue first, and it's going to make the hue, the color uniform. So we have 1. I can take it extreme, and you see what it does. It blends this one to this one, and also increase the saturation. This is where things start to change drastically. So it blends the two together, just like that. So I wouldn't like to overdo it, but let's see. Just take it forward and bring this backward a bit, and find the sweet spot for it. So take this forward and bring this backward. And the lightness, we can take it up, and it's going to blend the two lightness together. So take it up, and there we go with the lightness. So the two is the same. Okay, so now that we're done, we're going to go to the amount. Now when we take it forward, it's going to give it some yellow. So I prefer this one. Because I actually wanted the color to look more like the hand. So it's taking it forward, we let us achieve that effect. So this is okay for me, and we could decrease the saturation a bit, and that's okay for me. All right, so now I'm going to create another empty layer, and I'm going to work on the background. So let's select the background with the magic brush tool, and I'm going to name this one background. Keep things organized. Background, and I'm going to name this one skin tone all. Okay, we all know this one is for the hand, HAND, and the second one is for the hand as well. So this is for the background. Let's make a selection of the background. I'm going to select the background, it's M. Okay, so now it's M, and then let's go to the exposure and bring the brightness down. So taking it down would be make it look like this. So I'm bringing it down to make it more cooler, and I'm going to decrease the saturation, but it's affecting the green, so let's just leave the saturation for the now and go to the eye dynamics. Let's decrease the blacks and decrease the shadows, so you see the effect at the left hand side, and I'm also going to decrease the highlight, so it makes the background further back from the subject, and decrease the white. So alright, so now I'm going to work on the air. So let's select the air. Now create a new layer, empty layer, and name it air, H-A-I-R, air. Okay, so let's grab the selection to head. I'm going to erase it, erase the rest part, which is this one, and this one from the background. Okay, so I just want just the air alone. Alright, so now this is what we're going to be doing. We're going to be using the white balance because I want it very white. So let's go to the white balance, grab this and zoom into the eyes and pick this color. So see what happens to the hair when I pick that color. I'm going to pick that color and it's going to brighten the white. You can see what it does. So let's turn it off and on. Now you can see the air is white. One last adjustment, I'm going to create a new fill adjustment layer. So it's going to, the mask is going to cover everything, and now we can start by adjusting the curve. Let's create an X curve 1. So take note of the exposure warning. So I'm going to create another one here and create an X curve. This is just to create contrast in the image, so something like that. Okay, so I'm also going to create another one, new fill adjustment layer, and this is to work on the color. So I'm going to come down and let's work with the basic, and for this one I'm going to go to the greens. So let's select this one, select the green, and it's going to select the green, and we can change the hue of the green to something like this and decrease the lightness as well, so it's darker a little bit. One more thing, so let's select the color of the color in our eyes, which is this one, and it's going to give us this color. So let's increase the saturation of that. I'm going to zoom out and you're going to see the difference. So that's too much for the now, just a bit, and this is good. Let's select that of our face, which is the orange. Okay, so we could decrease the saturation a bit if it's too saturated, so but something like this. Alright, so this is the end of the tutorial. Let's see our before and after. So this is our before, and then this is our after. This is our before, and then this is our after. This is how I work in Capture One. So guys, if you learn one or two things, let me know in the comment section. If you're new to the channel, kindly subscribe. Thank you so much for joining us. Once again, this is ASAS Studio. See you in our next tutorial. Thank you.